Welcome to the First Class Man. I'm Leopold, and this is a space where men come to rebuild themselves from the inside out. Not with cliches or fake motivation, but through real conversation with real men who failed, lived, risen, and learned. Every week, we go deeper into the questions that most men never ask and the answers that most men never get to hear. If you're a man who knows he's meant for more, then you're in the right place. So let's get into today's conversation. This is the First Class Man. I'm happy to have you on the show, Isaac. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No worries, man. Appreciate you, man. I think there's a lot to your story that I'm actually excited to hear.
Okay.
Obviously, we've spoken a lot about various things, previously, but when we were speaking, even via text, it was a case of, is there anything you want to really cover? And you were just like, just want to have a conversation and, be open and let the conversation flow. And it's exciting for me because it means that I just get to listen to your story, hear your story, learn, and hopefully, obviously, if there's anything that anyone can just take from your story, it'll be a blessing as well,
Absolutely,
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, you're right? Everything okay?
Yeah, all good. Tiring day today. Big trip tomorrow, so all chill. Happy to be here with you and kind of conclude my evening.
Yeah, it's been a good end to the evening, actually, to be fair. Obviously, we were discussing briefly, I think one of your core things you mentioned was, gratitude.
Of course.
And that word can mean a lot, and it's very different for different people. So I think I just wanted to get into it, man, and just start there and just ask, what does the word gratitude mean to you?
I think you're right. It can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But to me, it's just appreciating the smallest things. And it's not that, I've eaten a nice meal today. Thank you. I've got a job, etc. To me, and this is something I started practicing when I was quite young, like 15, 16. I would just sit out in my garden. In the evening sometimes, you sometimes get like a nice starry night, and it would just be hearing the trees. It could just be seeing the grass kind of move with the wind. Could be anything, and it's like a gratitude to just be alive, really, to experience everything that we are.
Yeah.
Feeling warm, feeling cold, like when we get chilly, we get goosebumps. Just having that experience. From a gratitude level, I think the more you can break it down, the beautiful it is.
Good, man. And, do you think that's something that you've always had, or is it something that, you developed over time? How did that come about?
Well, I was quite a spoiled kid when I was young.
Okay.
And I say that in I've always I used to ask my mum for this, I used to ask her for that. If I didn't get it, I'd throw a tantrum and just start screaming around. Fortunately, I'm not like that anymore. But I'd say up until 12 or 13, I was quite like this. So I had a lot of things in my life that I really took for granted at the time. Okay. And then growing up, from going from 12 to 15, you go through puberty. You just you start learning a lot of different things. You get exposed to different parts of the world. You kind of start seeing a lot of things that your parents are struggling with that perhaps weren't really obvious to you. You get to see the struggle that people go through just to put food on the table. And I think that's kind of where it started. Just really started appreciating more and more granular things. And then one day I was just kind of sat outside, and when you're just there, you're just existing, you don't really think about much.
Okay.
It was just this, and I saw some birds, and I thought, the pretty birds. Started noticing the trees, the grass, and it was just this appreciation, I'm here. I'm experiencing all this, and it was a shitty day at the time as well, but it was just nice to be there, and I think that's always been the foundation of everything I kind of do. I'm just happy to be here, get to experience this, and then everything on top of that, it just amplifies and just add to that, really. But if you can appreciate the bare basics that life has to offer you, I think anything else is already a bonus.
Of course, man. Well, there's a lot there, but I want you to take me back, because obviously you're mentioning it wasn't always the case for you. You grew up and sort of had the moment where you're like, damn, I'm alive, I'm here. Take me back. What was childhood like? What was the upbringing like? Let's go from there to begin with.
Okay. I'm trying to think, how far should we go back?
I mean, you're born here?
Yeah, I was born in Birmingham. So
Okay.
I've primarily floated around Birmingham. So let's go to like primary school, right? So my father had a business. So when he was quite young, and I guess I was quite young as well, he had a video shop. So I'm talking classic VHS movies, like DVDs,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. And it was like a kid's dream, right? Because I would go to work with him on Saturdays, Sundays, and I'd like stock shelves, stuff like this.
Yeah.
And my reward was I can pick out any movie I wanted, given the parental guidance and all. And just
I would not have listened to that at all.
Blast it. Well, when he wasn't there, I wouldn't listen to it. But I would just blast it out. So like I had Disney on demand basically. So I grew up watching a lot of this, and it was like it was at the time like a really cool place to be. But then as we kind of know what happened with the video industry, you've got like
Netflix came.
So it started changing a little bit. And I'll give you an example of what made me like a spoiled kid. My dad, poor guy, was just trying to hustle, make a living, and I was watching Fast and Furious at the time. I think it was like just released or so. And somebody kind of came in and they're like, yeah, that's the one I want. That's what I want to watch tonight. And it's just a customer, as you would. I was watching this. I was watching this copy. My dad just came to me and he was like, yeah, I need that. Got a customer. I remember throwing the biggest tantrum. Don't remember much, but I remember just weeping and breaking down into tears.
Oh my God. Did you just like eject it and stop it from playing? And
he was quite sweet about it, to be fair. Like he was nice about it. I think thinking back to it now, I can imagine the experience I put him through while there's a customer waiting to be served and your kid's throwing a tantrum. And that poor customer as well, literally stealing a movie from a kid. So just stuff like that. So that was like on the spoiled side. And then as that kind of VHS, the DVD industry started dying out, he converted it into a general store, so like an all sorts kind of shop. Had anything from broomsticks to like chocolate bars, etc. And I think that's when it started changing. That's when money was probably something to kind of think about, and I couldn't kind of get what I wanted on demand all the time.
Was that like a hard transition for your dad then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, for him, I'd say for the entire family.
Okay.
Because you have this really wonderful entertainment industry that anybody could be a part of. And it kind of got locked away by places like Netflix and now Disney and so onwards. It was definitely quite a transition and an interesting one at that. And I think the way it influenced the stuff that happened in our house as well, because suddenly my dad was someone that was around quite a bit.
Okay.
I could spend quite a lot of time with. And then that transition to now he has to work this job as a general store.
Yeah.
But there's so many of them, right? So business isn't fantastic. So he started doing taxi shifts as well. And then it kind of transitioned from seeing the person all the time to kind of catching them after school for a couple of hours in the evening, time and so onwards. Life got in the way, I guess, and that relationship started to get a bit bigger.
Well, you can already see how that's going to make a massive shift. From having your dad as someone who's constantly as a presence. I'm not saying he wasn't present, but he's a bit more scarce. Obviously, for us on the show, we really want to focus on. I think the ultimate goal for the show is, regardless of someone's background, their race, religion, ethnicity, do men ultimately converge on, the principles of what it takes to be a man? And, in a way, it's a social experiment. I want to sit down with loads of different people and just kind of get their opinions on, their take on masculinity, their take on, men. So, with you saying that, how do you feel? Do you feel as though having your dad less present as you aged affects you in a way? Or, did you notice anything there?
I think with each generation, you get a different version of a man, right? He had an immigrant father, so he did his best to kind of grow up in the world as he knew it. He was essentially the breadwinner, so to speak, right? And he wanted to support and provide for his family. In his view, and using him as an example, that was his identity. That's what kind of made him. For me, it's a bit different because I don't have a family I need to support. I'm a pretty independent guy. And that gives me a lot of flexibility and freedom, so I don't have necessarily the same struggles and worries as him. I'm always there supporting family and friends, but I guess what I can normally do for people is limited because they're self-sustaining, if that makes sense. But for me, being a man is just having a bit of integrity, a little bit of honor, some self-respect. Put the toilet seat up before you take a piss. just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes, I think, too deeply into it in terms of my personal identity. But at the same time, it makes you who you are. It is what we make of it, if that makes sense.
And well, how's your relationship with your father now?
Yeah, good. We're talking. We hang out. It's a normal relationship. It's a lot better than what it was like a few years ago.
Is it a case of his lack of presence caused a bit of a rift, or did you just find yourself growing distant? Is he a different person to you? Do you take after him?
I don't think it's got much to do with like distance, right? When you grow up, when any kid kind of grows up, they're trying to establish their own identity. They want to separate from what they know and kind of build something of their own. And I think I did that at quite an early age. So I started moving away, and I started discovering life for what I want it to be and what I want to mold it to be and where I want to see myself in like 10, 15 years. And a big part of that was school. He was always really big on like me having an education, as was my mother. But I didn't do very well in my formal studies, right? Like actually, even to this present day, I've got no formal qualifications, so to speak.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. But I think it's just time. It just has that effect. Difference of opinions, being from different generations. It all just plays a part, and that drift just gets bigger and bigger. I think a big part of that, and I'd say it's not just in a father-son relationship, but in any kind of relationship, is pride as well. Men traditionally carry a lot of pride in themselves, and if, let's say, you and I have an argument, and one of us probably realizes a little bit later on that I could have done that better, one of us was wrong. Pride normally stops that from kind of actually building that drift again, and it can go anywhere from separating you guys from a couple of days to a week to potentially years, depending on how big you make that drift out to be. I think that played a big part in it, in a lot of family dynamics, saying that.
Well, in that situation between father and son, is it a case of that pride? Were you the one that put it to the side to sort of get on the talking terms again, or was it your dad? How did it sort of come about?
I think, like any father, he wanted for his son to be able to stand on his own 2 feet and be able to kind of take the world on. And he had a very traditional way of kind of doing it. Like he wanted to kind of get that job, get that education, and kind of take it from there, like that solid bet. But I was kind of like, well, no, I want to do it my way. I want to try it like this. And that kind of...
What was your way? What is the Isaac way?
Well, so again, formal education just wasn't a kind of thing, right? So let's like dive into a little bit of the work side. When I left college, I did a few different things. So studying in college, I was doing like a law study. I don't think it was a degree wise, an A-level, that's it. So I was studying law, and I was okay at it. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but it wasn't something that was like really capturing my interest greatly. I would like show up to my class quite late. I had like a really bad set routine. I didn't really have that discipline to kind of like listen in, and I remember talking to my teacher, and she would tell me like, this is what you need to do better, and this is the framework that we kind of need, and it just wasn't kind of clicking for me. And after enough absences, I decided like this isn't working out for me, and I kind of just went off. I just didn't do anything. From 16 to 17, it was a case of I was just playing games all the time, like hanging out with the friends I had, just laying back and not really doing much. And I remember one day, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I did something that, I broke something essentially. And that cost like 250 quid, 300 quid, something like this. And at the time, that was a lot of cash. I just didn't have it. So what I had to do was sell my PlayStation off. And that removed the comfort for me. So I managed to pay back that debt, and I found, well, now I'm just sitting here, I've got nothing to do. And I just started looking into apprenticeships, finding ways to kind of make a buck or so. And I went into this open house for an IT apprenticeship. And I didn't think much of it. I didn't think I'd make a whole career out of it. I just thought it would be a nice way to just get a job and some basic education. And I ended up working for a startup that did contact center solutions.
Okay.
And that was, it was interesting because when I started, it was my first, let's say, office job, so to speak, right? And I was quite nervous a lot. I didn't know what to do, how to act or so, and I would just make really basic mistakes. And I just started leaning into it. I just kind of felt like, okay, I'm here, let's just go for it. And I just got more and more comfortable with this, more and more confident. And it was a stroke of putting in the effort, but also being at the right place at the right time that kind of really helped me scale as the company I started with. I was like the second employee, so it was so much.
Was that your first role?
That was my first, I'd say, part of a career. So
okay, I see.
I'd worked like lots of roles before. I'd worked in pizza shops, worked as a cleaner. I worked in a farm where I was just picking out like sweet peas all the time. So yeah, lots of different things. But that was like a first office space on the road to like really building a career.
I see. I was asking because I find it so interesting because obviously, and we'll get onto what you do now. Obviously, you know, you're running a successful business. But I just find it interesting how you having the PlayStation removed and being put out your comfort zone is almost what allows you to find your purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it always something that feels like coincidence when someone just stumbles into their purpose, or you were like, was there a moment where you're like, okay, I'm doing IT now, this is it for me?
Yeah, no, I think it was the work. So IT is a really fun and beautiful part of that because you get to design and release stuff across, and that creativity process that goes into it makes it really enjoyable for me. That whole customer feedback loop, the sprint cycles, etc. You get to really find out it can be from the smallest thing, right? It could just be that your scrolling is like gliding through. It could be that there's a new button there that just kind of saves somebody 2 minutes of having to open up another tab. I know that sounds really minuscule, but it's a nice part of it because you get to build something really functional that people get to enjoy.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest part of me was always meeting other people, always meeting customers, directors of their own business, and kind of getting their experiences. A lot of the time you'd go have a dinner or a lunch with them, and it was like an exchange of ideas. So I get to learn a lot about them, about their industry, and they would also get to learn a little bit about mine. So maybe I could help them solve a problem that they had, and vice versa, they can educate me on something in their industry. Yeah. So it kind of became a universal role where you just go out and start talking to people. Yeah. And that's always something I've really enjoyed.
Quick break, brother. If you're resonating with this conversation, make sure to take our free masculine archetype quiz and to download our ebook, which can be found in the link down below. And if you want to go deeper, then be sure to join our First Class Man community, which will be held on School, which can also be found in the link down below. There, we're having conversations with men that have previously been on the channel in a roundtable format, which gives deeper insight in the form of group discussion. Apart from that, let's get back into it. Nice, man. And yeah, I mean, we'll get onto it. I mean, you now run a successful business. You know, I would love to talk about that as well.
Of course.
But I thought it was great because obviously you grew up in a household where your dad ran a business. So do you think it was that sort of shaped your desire to be an entrepreneur, or do you reckon you took anything from that?
No, I don't think so. Without being harsh to my father, but the VHS side of the business, which was booming at the time, but afterwards, like not so much. I didn't really get to see much of that. I didn't get to see how it worked. I saw him essentially, and might sound a bit mean to say, but have a 9-to-5 job, but with much more responsibility. Okay, still had to be there to open his shop, close his shop. He had a couple of employees, and he had so much trouble with them I remember.
Yeah.
Like just all this. So no, I don't think that really influenced me to kind of wanting to start my own thing or so. I think it kind of brought down like what it might be like and gave me that experience.
I see.
But the key part of that was that all of this took place when I was really young, and a point where you just don't look, you don't really care for it. You just want entertainment. You just want to have a good time, as any 6 or 8 year old does. And I guess a part of that I did take away. Was that when he had his general tour, sometimes when he'd like pop out, I get to work the till a little bit when customers came up.
Okay.
And that gave me a nice side to that customer experience side. So I'd see a lot of people come into the store. I'd get to do that. Hi, how you doing? Oh, that'll be $2.99, please. Got to run the system, kind of push it out, and till will tell you, this is how much you need to take out. This is how much change you need to give back.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. That was quite fun. Just hearing the doot, 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 and then
Well, to be fair, it's definitely helped. One thing about you, mate, is you communicate and connect with people pretty chill, pretty simply.
I appreciate that.
To be fair, which is something I noticed about you obviously at the gym and stuff. So it's definitely paid off. But yeah, I mean, let's jump into, obviously you're an entrepreneur. Run us through your business. You know, how have you found that, you know, running your own business and being an entrepreneur has shaped you, you know, as a man? You know, we'll start with that. How do you think it shaped you?
I think it's made me pay a lot more attention, and going back to that subject of gratitude makes me really appreciate what people do for work and the amount of expertise that has to go into it. And it can be anywhere from being a really good waiter to a taxi driver to a CEO of a business. Foundationally, I found all these people to be practically exactly the same. They all have fears, they all have worries, they're all trying to provide, they all have targets to reach. So that personality layer is pretty much the same. I mean, not the same, but they have the core foundations are all just kind of there. And I think it's made me a bit more observant. So when I go into, I don't know, let's say a restaurant or so, I can pick out like a nice service from a bad service, like a good service.
Yeah.
So, I can kind of pinpoint how something works. I think this bothers a lot of people I go to dinner with, actually, that I like watching how the kitchens run.
Okay.
How combined that they are, like how much they work in unison or so. And it could be like let's say you go make a coffee, right? And using Starbucks as an example, you make your order, they get a ticket, they pop it through, a barista makes a drink, somebody else pulls out the name. Like this cycle of continuous improvement. I quite like watching that I don't know, in factory line almost, kind of operate. So that's always fun. I always try and look out for those. So I think that's shaped me quite a lot. It's made me to be quite a logical person at times.
Yeah.
So when it comes to business, you can't really be emotional about things. And I think that's had quite an impact on my social and personal life as well, where I've stopped becoming such an emotional person sometimes. And it's got its pros, it's also got its cons. Maybe sometimes, and I've been told this, I come across a bit of a dick sometimes, or sometimes a bit cold. In my mind, I feel like I'm being completely firm, but that's subjective, I guess, to who's getting that treatment and what's being said.
Of course.
So I think that's played a really big part in personality. Work-wise, I love what I do, so I think about it all the time. Like whenever I'm chilling somewhere, whenever I'm having a dinner, it's always there in the back of my mind. Like, this could be a cool thing to do for this customer. This could be cool to implement. This customer mentioned this problem to me, so maybe I can help them by introducing them to this person. It's always like a cog that's like always ticking, if that makes sense. Yeah,
great, man. Now, obviously, for yourself, like I said, going back to the original point, this conversation, I really do want it to be focused and centered around, gratitude, and thanks for sharing your story. If you were to have, somebody who was feeling lost or disconnected, what would you, suggest that they do then?
I think it comes down to what you're feeling lost about. So we can tackle it in a couple of ways, right? Personally, like you just don't have any direction. and then work, which is one I always feel lost about. I don't know whether I'm doing enough, but I could be doing more. So let's start personally. I think it really comes down to understanding yourself, like the values that you might instill. What are your principles? Like, what do you believe? What do you believe to your core is a fundamental rule about you? What is something that you enjoy? There's this process called like Ikigai, and you're familiar with it. Okay, cool. I think a lot of people are. Yeah. It's just a quick concept right now. It's what you love, what you're good at, what you can kind of essentially make a bit of money on, and combining that, and so being almost like a life's work or so. And I'd say just start with a framework like this, build up, like see where are you unhappy? Are you unhappy with your personal life? Are you unhappy with how you're performing at work, or do you want to change things? Yeah. Life can be whatever you want it to be, and that's also what makes it really beautiful. Like, you can build it up to be whatever you want, and it's all just down to perspective. If you're unhappy in England, just move to another country. And I know that sounds like a privileged thing to say, but so let's say UK based, right? You've got a pretty strong passport. You can go to a lot of different places, and there's a lot of things, of course, that need to happen for that to actually work, right? You need to have a decent amount of savings. You need to have this, etc. But to your average person who's probably employed, has a few £100s at least in savings, it's not impossible. And I think that's the core thing to remember. It's not impossible. Whatever goal that you have, just break it down to small steps on what you need to achieve. But yeah, anything can be done. Doesn't matter who you are or where you are in life. It can still be done, and that's an attitude I've really kind of carried with me a lot throughout a lot of my life, and it's paid off quite nicely, I think. Good, man. I mean, from what I know, you've had the privilege to be able to travel to a few places. Yeah. So in your travel time, then, has seeing the world, given you like a greater sense of gratitude in a sense? Yeah. This time last year, I was over in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is a really interesting country, and at that time, and probably to this day actually, they're in a bit of a civil war. So there's like a lot of tribal problems, a lot of government problems, corruption, of course, was a big thing, and so forth. And while I was kind of traveling over there, I really explored the country. I got to see so many different ways of life, all in like one nation, and it was quite beautiful to see. So you'd see anything from like tribal to just like we get our food, we make our food, it's a good day, that's it, we're done, all the way to like your average guys, like who are just making a living through working a job. And then on the more extreme side, where I got to have like a coffee conversation with a militia captain, that was really interesting. Just hearing it from his perspective. Like, I just walked into a cafe. He was there, surrounded by some other soldiers. He noticed I wasn't Ethiopian. We just had a conversation, and that was just crazy. Just the idea of that. I got to travel in the desert for a little bit as well. And I think that's when like that gratitude message really kind of came back to me, because in that desert it was like 55 to 56 degrees, so it's steaming, hot, yeah. And we were in a car for most of it, so we weren't even that bad off, to be fair. Aircon was on. And I remember we went out for like a little bit to kind of explore these like acid lakes. Okay. And then in that section, getting back into that car, it was just so hot, like I felt like I would pass out. And I was just pouring all this water over myself. Like I just felt like I couldn't cool down. Like I'd top off, I was just in some shorts, just constantly pouring water in. And as we're kind of driving away, I see this like kid running after the car, and he's chasing the car, and I look back, and I thought he's like trying to give a wave or so, but then as I catch a glimpse of him, he's making like hand signals. I couldn't kind of figure out what it was at the time. He was just going like this. Oh no! And I realized he wanted a bottle of water. And I think in that moment it really just kind of clicked in for me that sometimes, and that part of my life was a bit weird because I wasn't very happy with where I was. I was quite depressed, to be fair, and that's what made me want to just go out of the country for a while. And I think in that moment it really just kind of clicked in place, like how lucky I am to have everything I like, and the issues I have I just quite built up in my head. And then here is some kid like chasing a car for a bottle of water, and I realized how privileged I am just to experience the things I do and get the things I do. Like we have Uber Eats here, we have Deliveroo, and there's somebody else out there just fighting for water. So no, it's
and that's enough for them if they have that. So why do you think society is that way, where we here, I'd probably say in the West, and that have more, are still not able to be satisfied with what we have versus obviously other places where they have less? What do you think the difference is?
Comparison. We keep comparing ourselves. We've got the luxury of social media, Instagram. We scroll on our feed, see one of our friends on a holiday, they're sitting business class on an Emirati flight, or leaning on their Rolls Royce, etc. And then here we are with our like maybe not so glamorous things, and we just think, I wish I had that. And I think it's a joy, like it's the thief of joy, sorry, that we keep comparing ourselves, going up and up and up, and you can put that perspective anywhere else around the world, and people always just want more, and that's why that gratitude is always such a big thing for me, because I have everything I need, really. Like I'm healthy, I'm sat here with you having a good time, a nice conversation. I've got my water. I'm gonna eat a hot meal afterwards, probably. I've got everything. But we open up our social media and we start scrolling through. We see everything that we want, right? And then we just think, why haven't we got it? And we get depressed over this. Because we're beating up ourselves about things that we don't have or can't have, and that's, I don't know. I feel like that's enough to like make anybody feel a little bit sad.
I always find it crazy, and obviously, I think for me anyway, I would say the element of gratitude. You always find it sometimes in like your darkest times. Because I remember for me, there was a time where in my life where things weren't going great, and honestly, it was just the joy. One day, it was a hot day, and I just heard the ice cream van truck, that sound. I'm like, you know what, I've not done this in years. I'm going to go and grab an ice cream from an ice cream van truck. And I got one. And then I just looked at the cone and I was just like, this is the simple things that just bring some joy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you mentioned something interesting. You were like, this experience happened obviously when you were at a time in your life where, things weren't quite great.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I knew you before you before you went away at that time, actually, to be fair. So, yeah, you obviously weren't in the right space. Could you talk me through, obviously you've been running this business, you're doing quite well for yourself. Could you talk me through why you weren't quite feeling 100%?
I think I was putting a lot of stress onto myself. I had onboarded quite a few customers at that time, and they had pretty hard requirements for me to meet. So work was playing a really big part into it. And like, to give you an idea, I'd like quit smoking for 5-6 years, and then during that summer I just started picking up again. It was just one after the other. It was so bad. I was feeling really unwell. I was quite sick. I don't know what it was, a long COVID or whatever.
Everyone had long COVID.
I just felt like so tired all the time, so fatigued. My personal life wasn't doing great either. I had like quite a lot of arguments with friends, and kind of put distance between us. And again, going back to that situation of pride, a part of it was quite like that as well. So it's like, you don't want to talk to me, I won't want to talk to you. I felt like I got a lot of base and negative emotions really drive my life at that point. Beyond that, it was just so many. I was in a long-term relationship as well, and that fell apart. So it was somebody I really grew up with from 18 up until mid-20s.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like when this drift takes place, there was the absence of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the combination of all these things just really made me feel a bit down. I say a bit down, but it was bad. Like you start seeing it in small signs. Like I remember in my flat, I'm really quite a tidy person. I like to leave things quite clean, and I remember just kind of leaving out some stuff that I wouldn't normally do. So maybe I'd make a sandwich and I'd leave the chopping board out or so. And it would just start with this, and it's like the clutter would just add on. Eventually, I found myself like not wanting to go sleep in my bed, but just sleeping on my couch instead. And it was so bad that I would fall asleep in the same clothes that I would wear during the day, just on my couch, completely passed out, and just wake up, have a shower, whack on some new clothes, and just go from there.
Yeah.
It had, without getting like too deep into it, I had so many layers where I could just really feel myself twisting, going further and further into this.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I knew that something wasn't right, but it was almost like a new standard that I was setting myself. And I think that's when I decided something needs to change. I need to get out of this rut, and I find physically being in that location at that time wasn't doing much good either. So I needed to change everything up. So I took 6 months out essentially, still working, still doing all this stuff, but just on the road. I'd learned nothing to kind of like live by besides like a backpack. But that also gave me a lot of simplicity in life. Like I just had these clothes. I could buy a new one, I could buy new socks, stuff like this to just kind of get me by. But I could go where I wanted, meet a lot of interesting people, got to hear a lot of fun stories and interesting and sad stories, and kind of build up from there.
That's crazy. I think I totally relate, and I think a lot of people will relate to you, describing the slow but recognizable breakdown. Because the signs are visible, and when you talked about the whole idea about you're a tidy person and you notice little things, it's like the cracks begin to show.
Yeah, exactly that.
And then you realize you're not quite right. So as you were going through it, I was like, God, this guy's described me at one point in my life, honestly. So obviously you've taken yourself away, you've gone to all these places. Then obviously that one moment in the desert would have filled with a lot of gratitude. But would you say it was solely that sparked the shift? Because when you came back refreshed, rejuvenated, energized. Was that the only thing that caused the shift, or was there other factors contributing to it as well?
It was. I got to do a lot of interesting stuff while I was away. I got to meet a lot of interesting people again, and I think that was a core part of it. It's strange. It was only last year, but I feel like I can't remember. I got to go to Jordan, and I got to see all the beauties that humanity has come up with. Like I got to see Petra, and that was like beautiful. I do a lot of hiking in my time, and it's nice to kind of be at one with nature, so to speak, right? Weirdly, it sounds like I'm in deserts all the time, but there is a desert in Petra that you have to kind of go through. And you just see all these like monuments that people have kind of created and kind of come up with.
Yeah.
And that was quite like beautiful. A big part of that kind of played into that. The just gratitude for the earth. I think again, just without sounding too hippie, like that was a really big thing as well. I became a dive master while I was away as well.
Actually.
Yeah. So
that's cool, man.
That's interesting. So.
That's random.
Yeah. Diving is always something I had a lot of interest in, and I remember kind of doing a few like fun dives, and I thought I really want to get into this, and now's as good time as any. So I just flew over to Indonesia actually, went to some islands and just did a course over there, and I was there for like 6 weeks. It was crazy long.
Just diving every day.
Just diving every day.
That's
working,
cool.
And
scuba or without anything?
Both. So primarily, I'd say 80% scuba, but 20% of that was also free diving.
That's cool, man.
On a boat, just dive in.
How long did you stay down there for?
Like a per.
Yeah, without anything.
Oh, like with free diving?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of minutes. That was it.
Damn.
Just go in, come back out, straight back in.
I feel like I tried to hold my breath. It lasts probably 30 seconds to a minute max.
There's like a whole science behind it. Like can't remember, mammalian reflex, something like this. But essentially, you're underwater, you feel like you can't breathe, but you're breathing just fine. Well, not breathing, but you're holding yourself in just fine. And there's a whole science to it on how, as you go down, the air compresses and such, which I won't get into because I'll embarrass myself. But, yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And then the scuba side was quite fun as well. Got to take out a lot of people. Got to meet a lot of people who were there on vacations, honeymoons. I wanted to try different things. I was essentially working there.
That's cool, man.
As like an intern, which was quite different at that point in my life. So yeah, I got to help out with people who wanted to go diving, and I got free guys myself. So it was a good trade-off. And just being down there, you just see all this life, like all this stuff that you'd never really think about. Just seeing, sharks, for example, turtles, just everything, and it's quite peaceful, as you can imagine, being underwater. You just hear your bubbles, and that's about it. So yeah, it was a really rewarding experience, and I think that kind of shift, all of this, the combination, it just made me want to go back a bit refreshed, a lot happier, different mindset, and just ready to kind of go again.
Is that sort of why you try and travel a lot now, or?
I like to travel a lot because I get to, again, going back to meeting interesting people. That's a really big part in it. I get to meet people who are sometimes complete opposite of me. It's like when we're home, right? Like when we're in Birmingham, we're quite closed off to experiences. We don't want to talk to a lot of people, but when you're out there, it's like you just open up. You just want to talk to anybody that would have you, and they talk right back to you. And it's quite nice to just hear people's stories, see what they've come through, where they're going to, what their ambitions are. And sometimes you get to help out a lot of people, and that's quite nice. Like a lot of people I came across would struggle with basic IT. I call it basic, but it is basic because I work.
You've learned,
exactly.
you're expert.
But to a lot of people, it's like quite a challenge still. So when I would go in, it was like I can do something really crazy for you actually in like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It could be life-changing for you. And I remember doing this for a couple of tour guides in Ethiopia and a couple of people in South Africa, essentially setting them up with platforms that they can just go ahead and create. Like, no bill associated, just have fun, like go for it. And I think it's nice to be able to influence somebody's life like this, to be able to give them something that perhaps that they struggle with, just like I hope somebody gives me something I've sometimes struggled with.
Yeah,
that makes sense to you in a give and get relationship.
Well, that's exactly what you like. To be honest with you, I can say that you definitely even helped me out with the things I'm doing, which I appreciate again. So I think going from your story at the beginning, you were talking about obviously you had times in your life where you were depressed, and obviously now your main thing is gratitude, right? Would you say that you've learned to be present in situations now because of that? Or, because usually when someone's depressed, they're thinking about external things or things that don't matter at the time. So do you think you've learned to be truly present in the moment?
I think so. I think it's like this lifelong ambition, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, and that's a pretty big thing. But I think just listening to somebody while they're talking, and it could be that your mate is just having a rough time. And a lot of men these days are quite closed off. They don't get to tell you about their emotional experience, and frankly, I think it's because they don't feel like many people give a shit.
Yeah.
But if you're just there, you just really listen through, and I mean empathetic. You're not thinking about the next thing that's going to come out your mouth to kind of relate to them, to share your story, but just listen. I think it makes all the difference. It will help your friend out. It'll help out whoever it is you're talking to, and for you, you'll probably understand your friend a lot better, or the person you're talking to. But right now, I think in my life, I'm still a bit scatterminded sometimes. Like I get told off sometimes when I'm having a conversation, and then back in my mind we've got work going on, and I'm thinking about this.
Yeah.
But I think when I need to be, I guess is the word, I can be completely present. Having that conversation, being really absorbed into it, and just talking about that. Normally over a drink, that helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't complain with that. To be fair, what's your go-to?
My go-to. Oh, I like a White Russian these days.
Okay, cool. I've not had a White Russian in God knows how long. I've not had a drink in God knows how long, mate.
Can be a bit queeny, but yeah, no. Why the Black Russians? Easy.
I'm dying to mention. Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks time, I'll have my first drink. It's been months now.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, for Christmas, it'd be good. I've been walking past the German market in town, and I've just been
teasing, yeah.
I've been dying to have a Glühwein, and I just have to literally bury my head, put my headphones on, and just walk as fast as I can through it, mate. I can't do it.
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah, laser focused. But yeah. All right then. So I think you've shared a lot. There's a lot that you can definitely, people can draw from your, story. So thank you. I do have a couple of just questions on, straight questions I want to ask you for a response, and just let me know your honest, authentic, opinion. So, would you say that anyone has taught you to be a man, or do you think it's just something that you've just learned as you go on through life?
I think it's been a factor of all of these things. Like at the end of the day, being a man, right, is an identity, and you make your own identity, and it is shaped and influenced by a lot of people around you. It could be shaped by people that you work with. I've had really amazing business mentors in my life that have really taught me so much. I've had family members who kind of guided me when I was being a bit of a dick. And then there's also that case of just studying and learning for yourself. And I think all of these just kind of contribute and build into that. So it's not a case of one or two people, but all these parts that people can kind of show you and gift you, whether it be impressive traits of empathy and kindness that you might see on the street. And you kind of think to yourself, I'd like to be that person that helps out this lady crossing the road or so. All the way to, I don't know, let's say in a work environment where you see somebody perform a certain way and carry themselves a certain way with confidence and charisma. And I'd like to kind of adapt that. And sometimes I find most people most people I talk to anyway, are quite open about their skills and their experience. They're more than happy to help you if you can kind of bridge that gap and have a conversation.
Yeah, of course.
If you tell people, this is what I'd like to learn, can you help me? There is absolutely no reason for them not to. And if they don't, it's either maybe a personal reason or maybe they're just a dick. But people like helping people. It's like the base of our society, right? If you feel like there's something you lack, ask somebody. But a big part of that, again, just merge of everything. The entire world, from media to the people around me, it's probably formed that identity.
If you were to go back to that depressed version of yourself, it's not too long ago, but it feels like it's been ages, to the man you are now, filled with gratitude, what advice would you give him?
It's a funny one, because I quite like thinking sometimes that I am where I am because of what happened. So maybe advice, probably nothing. It might sound a bit strange, but nothing. I think all of that needed to happen to kind of get to where I am now. But at the same time, if it was somebody else, for example, I think it would just be start with the small things. Just appreciate the small; it'll build up. That 1% a day attitude, if that makes sense. And then even beyond that, just breathe. That's it. Just breathe. It'll work out. It'll pass. I'm sure you can remember more than one time in your life when you were upset, just like you can remember more than one time in your life you were happy. All of this comes and it goes. You're going to get ups and downs. You can consider it ups and downs, but it's if you're present, it's a moment, and it'll go away. You won't always feel awful, and if you ever really truly feel awful to this point that you don't know what to do with the kind of pain that you're carrying, call your friend. It might not feel like that they are there, but any real friend is going to be there to listen to you and can kind of carry you through. Just call them, don't text, just call. And if they don't pick up, leave a voicemail, tell them exactly how shit you feel. And any good friends you have in your life will probably come down, have a conversation with you, kind of be there to support you. I can't think of many people that you have in your life, to be fair. Even people you're not very close with, they would still support you. Just don't carry it alone. You've got no reason to share that burden. That's what your friend and family are for.
Cool, man. Sound answer. What's one truth about yourself that you don't usually share, but you're willing to confess here?
Truth about myself. I think I'm quite a resilient person. Like, and I hate to kind of say it, but I do carry grudges sometimes. Not in a bad way. Well, I say not in a bad way. It's carrying a grudge, right? But I really listen to the words people kind of use. And maybe it's not quite a grudge, but I'll remember. If it, like, you know, when somebody says something to you and it kind of like pokes that core part of you, I wouldn't forget it. And I don't mean that in a threatening kind of way. I just mean it in like, you thought of me as this person once, or you have this opinion of me. And I hate it because I feel like there's no use for it, right? You can't let that justify or like carry you or define you, so to speak. But I do sometimes like touch on it, I guess. I think back to it, and it's a memory that kind of stays. It's not one I'm happy with, not one I'm proud of. Just I think it's just this trait that I'm trying to get rid of, but it's a difficult one to get rid of. Yeah, but again, try not to hold any bitterness. I'll just remember.
Yeah, man. Maybe. Cool. And I don't know, do you have maybe an object, a story, a symbol, just something that anchors you to your manhood?
I think it's my ring. So this one over here is not a particularly expensive one. It doesn't really have like much value, but it's got a lot of sentimental value to me. It's on it is like an carving or an engraving of a mirage, something that you see but isn't really there. I think that that carries through with a lot of things in life. You see things that aren't really there. We've got this opinion of ourselves, or we have this image of ourselves, and most of the time it's probably not what we expect it to be. A mirage, like, and the same applies for going back to our conversation on social media, kind of touching on things with people, where you can see the post of somebody living a really fantastic bougie life, so to say. It's a mirage. They're not there photo shooting all the time. You ever been out in like London, for example, when you're visiting the capital, and you see people posing with like these kind of bags and such, and there's a cameraman behind there. It's not as glamorous, probably taking 10, 20 shots to make it work. And I think it's important to kind of realize and recognize that's it's a mirage. Like, it's just a moment in time that somebody has been through to kind of capture exactly the way that they wanted to, and then kind of set it up and displayed it to the world. It's not real life. So that's this. It's a nice reminder of a lot of things.
Love that, man. Love that. Final question, Isaac. In one sentence, can you describe what being a man means to you now?
The integrity, the honor, carry yourself with a bit of dignity, be kind, help your fellow human when they ask for it, and just grow. There's a big world out there for you to explore, mess around and mess up in, and it'll probably pick you back up when you fall in it. So just go out, explore, be whoever it is you want to be. Don't let anything define your identity. Carve it yourself. That's the best superpower any humans kind of get. They can make themselves be whoever they want to be.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. Isaac, that concludes this, man. Thank you so much. No, thank you for being here, man. I'm going to put you down as a gratitude, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's been a great tour. I've definitely taken some things from hearing your story, man. So much appreciated. It's not really
You probably already realized from being here anyway, it's not about even being perfect. It's about it just being present
Yeah, of course.
and just having an honest conversation, which you've done. So
Authentic experience for sure.
no worries, man. But yeah, apart from that, I would say, thanks. Love to have you on again, and we'll catch up in the next couple of months. And enjoy your flight to China tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
Brilliant, man. Take it easy.
Have a wonderful evening.
Take it easy.
Thanks for tuning into the First Class Man today. If this conversation is something that hit you, then don't let it fade. The real growth happens when you stay connected to men who hold themselves to a higher standard. So here's your next step. Hit subscribe, join our community, and tap into deeper conversations within our movement. Also, if you haven't already grabbed our ebook, you can do so by clicking the link below. It will help you understand who you've been and who you're becoming as a man. And until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay first class.